Ima, it is good to continue this conversation with you.
I'm having a great time with this conversation as well.
Yes, the first session is like, for me, just beautiful. So let's continue. You had some of the other quotation you were wanting to bring to my attention as well.
Yes.
Yes.
The one by Jane Austen.
Uh-huh.
Without music, life would be a blank to me. Thoughts? What do you think about that?
I think it would be to me as well. I wouldn't know what to do without music. Because I literally, sometimes, most mornings, I wake up to music.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just sit back, my headphones on, drink water, and listen to music. That's my meditation,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's profound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had someone say music was there for me when no one else was. I was like, wow.
Music was what?
Was there for me when nobody else was.
Mm.
So music was therapy. Music was my friend, my lover, my support system. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And of course, the sensibility too, because people are not refined in this world where they are preoccupied with daily necessities. And so they don't develop the sensibilities to be able to connect with music at a deeper level.
True.
Do you think, yeah?
True. I think there's truth to that. Because again, it's just go. Wake up, do this, and then to make this coin so that you can have the next thing to do the next day.
Yes.
And you're so caught up in that rat race that you don't ever stop to hear. In the supermarket, when you're shopping, there's music. When you're going home in the matatu, there's music. When you are about to sleep, your neighbor is playing music. It's one of those things that are so integrated into your life that if you don't stop to realize, you don't really even notice it.
You don't notice it, right?
Yeah.
And you talked about earlier on that even the birdies that sing in the morning, that they sing in music.
Yes.
And people are not conscious of that.
Yeah.
They're not aware, sufficiently aware or awake to be able to hear it.
True.
We're fortunate that we can hear it.
We are. I think it takes a level of awareness to be able to stop and pause and be like, what's going on around me? What sensations can I pick up on? Yeah.
The music of nature. All of nature is creating music. Did you know that? I mentioned to you that when I left my job at the University of Gondar in Ethiopia for since 2019, end of 2019, I've been traveling. And in almost every place I go, I stay closer to nature, right? Nestled into a cabin in the woods, a cottage by the sea, by the ocean or something like this. That's where I stay. I walk away from all the fancy hotels. I don't want them. I really actually don't want them. I turn them down all the time. And then every morning I hear the birdies sing. I hear the crashing of the waves. Nature is singing, making its music. Yeah. I like that. The idea that the birdies, the noise they make isn't even a disturbance, it's music.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I like that.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned the crashing of the waves as well.
Yeah.
That sound it's almost even healing.
Yeah, it is. It is. It produces the Zen vibe.
Vibe.
It's
That's
cool.
what it is.
Yeah,
Vibe.
the Zen vibe.
Yeah.
Now you had another one, right? Or you?
Yes. I would say that music. Sorry, no, that's not the one. The most exciting rhythms seem unexpected and complex. The most beautiful melodies, simple and inevitable.
Awesome.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, and sometimes music is like that. I think about, it's talking about simplicity there, the simplicity of the melody, right? Where is it? Yeah. Simple and inevitable. The most beautiful melodies are simple and inevitable. Yeah. No, I agree. Because sometimes it's not about complexity. It's about simplifying it. And it is in their simplicity that some of the most profound effects are made. I like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's really good. It's well said. Well said, too. And then the last one I have here is by the Eastern philosopher Confucius. It's a social philosophy, if you will. He says the music produces a kind of pleasure which human nature cannot do without. Literally, life depends on it. What do you think?
I think it's just one of those self-explanatory quotes. It is true.
Yeah.
The kind of pleasure music gives, I don't think anything else can. For some of us, music is one of our addictions. It's a healthy one, I think. So I agree. Music produces a kind of pleasure which we cannot synthesize it into another form. It's just what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me hit you with this last one. I was going to make that my last one. And I'm sure, Ima, we're going to talk about more of these quotes because I think people need to know that from time immemorial, human beings have made music because music is really life.
Yeah.
It is a vehicle that has carried us from the earliest time to now. And if we're going to survive, if human family is going to survive, we need our music. We need our arts. We need our artists.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point we're trying to make here, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Let me hit you with this and see what you think about it. Now, this is by Jack Kerouac. He says that the only truth is music. The only truth, the supreme truth is music.
Sounds like a bar, he just dropped his microphone. And
That's right. That's right. Yeah. What do you think about that?
The only truth is music.
Right.
I don't know what I think about it actually.
Yeah.
Because I think what he's saying is you can't lie with music.
Right.
You cannot be pretentious with it.
Yeah.
It's either you feel it or you don't. And I think that's just it.
Yeah.
You either feel it or you don't. You can't pretend to connect with a song or connect with an emotion that the song is portraying or that is communicating if you don't feel it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why when Beyonce dropped Lemonade, the world stopped.
Yeah.
Because she sang of a very common experience.
Yeah.
If you were feeling that experience and whether you weren't a fan of hers, you still like the music.
Absolutely.
So it's there's a truthfulness that it kind of invokes in you that you can't lie, you can't pretend. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Well, you can look at it from a multiplicity of perspective, right? So, for example, theologically, we would say, like the scripture that says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, right? So Jack Kerouac here is saying that music is the only truth. So he's actually making a statement from a theological perspective that music is divine. Philosophically also, it's about the pursuit of the truth, the love of truth, the whole idea of the love of wisdom. The way that you attain that wisdom is by actualizing the truth, right? And Jack is also making a statement here. Music is the only truth. But everything you have said up to this point relates to that as well.
Yeah.
You can't be pretentious with music. You gotta communicate as you feel it here.
Yeah.
Right? It comes out.
Yeah.
Because in our world today, everything is about charade and mask and smoke screen, right?
Exactly.
Excuse me. But music is none of that. Music is none of that.
No.
Yeah. So I wanted to hit you with that to see what you think about that. There's many more. What about that one that you were pointing out, the last one by Leo Tolstoy?
Music is a shorthand of emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to talk about that? Because I know you. You're the musician.
Music is a shorthand of emotion.
Yeah.
I think shorthand, first of all, in its very basic essence, was created to summarize what it is that was said in long prose or whatever, and just shorten it and summarize. And I think that's what music does. It bags a whole spectrum of emotion into 3 minutes, into an album, into a body of work. You go into a concert and you feel lighter or you feel heavier when you leave. Because it's a communication. It's a language in itself. And I think it's the beauty of it is that it's a universal language. There's the race, age, all these dividing factors don't mean anything when it comes to music.
Not at all.
And so I think it's this neat little package that kind of can package emotion or feeling or connectivity or all these things of expression in bodies of work. So I think that's what that means.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I think you explained it really well. And we've talked now about the beauty of music, the necessity of music, and in some ways also the transcendence, as well as the ubiquity of it in terms of how nature creates music. And we are part of that nature. And although our culture doesn't value music or arts or the creatives, the government, as far as I know, doesn't have a lot of job for artists, but they have a lot of job for scientists and for mathematicians and such. And they don't have a lot of job for painters and songwriters and lyricists and poets and such, right? And so the artist can sometimes feel left out. But we don't want them to be left out. We want them to feel included because they're an essential part of life and society, right? So my question now to you then is, how can artists themselves join in the effort and in the movement for the advancement of the arts, right? How can we bring them together to participate actively in standing up for themselves and promoting their arts and advocating for themselves and what needs to happen for that to take place?
I think there needs to be a movement from the apathetic way that we look at systems that were either created for us or against us. Because there's the notion, so as a creative, I understand when you are so passionate and so caught up in the creativity process that you kind of your head is kind of buried in the creativity. So looking up, you feel is either a waste of time or you don't want to deal with everything else. But unfortunately, everything else kind of influences how you can the environment that you will create in and that you will realize your best artistic potential.
Absolutely.
And so there needs to be that awakening among creatives that it's not, yes, you're creative, but at the end of the day also, do you participate in business, in government, in policy making, in legislation, all these things that also affect your business. I'll give the example of, for example, with music, when it comes to the CMOs that we have, there's a lot of complaints when it comes to the MCSKs and the PRISCs and these royalty collection bodies, because there's always the thing of they're not being honest, there's the audited books are either cooked or things like that. There's all these allegations. But then when the complaints come, it's like, but are you members of these bodies? And as a member, do you attend the meetings of these bodies? And when you attend the meetings, do you vote? Do you exercise this vote that you have, this mandate that you have? Or do you just wait for the thing to happen and then we complain afterwards? It can't be the same victim mentality that it's almost played out. So I think it's a matter of taking your rightful place, not just behind the canvas or in the studio, but outside, so lobbying as well. Because, I mean, when you look at it, if it's government support, government are there for you. They need you to, they want to hear what you have to say. And they have expressed that.
Conceptually, they're there for you.
Conceptually, yes.
Right.
I mean, we're not till we try, right?
Right.
Yeah. So let's try and see and fail, and then we find a plan B.
That's right.
Why not?
That's right. That's good. So you're saying to the artist, perhaps they need to come together, take back their power, and become more intentional about advocating for themselves and placing themselves in those positions where those decisions are made, those policies are written,
Absolutely.
those strategies are devised.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.